All right, let's step into the foggy, gaslit streets of Victorian London, shall we? We're about to explore a story that totally redefined horror. We're talking about Robert Louis Stevenson's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And look, this isn't just a tale of a monster, it's a story about the monster that lurks inside all of us. And it all kicks off with this really radical idea.
So when you think Gothic, what comes to mind, right? Probably crumbling castles, clanking ghosts, that kind of thing. But Stevenson, he completely flipped the script. He literally dragged horror out of the distant past and dropped it right into the middle of the bustling modern city. The real terror, he was suggesting, wasn't some ghost hiding in the attic, but the darkness hiding in our own minds. And that right there brings us to the terrifying question at the absolute heart of this story. I mean, this is a question that changed the genre forever. What if the monster isn't outside your door? What if it's inside your own skin?
Okay, so this new kind of terror? It was no accident. This was a totally deliberate reinvention. And that's where Stevenson's genius really shines. You know, he took the old bones of Gothic horror and breathed new life into them for a world that was all about science, big cities, and, well, all those hidden desires. I mean, this is a huge shift in what we could call the geography of fear. Think about it. You can't run from this monster. You just can't. Why? Because the haunted house, it's your own mind. The battle isn't for some dusty old castle anymore. It's for your soul.
So, this whole internal battleground, well, it leads us to the story's most famous element, the thing everyone knows, the doppelganger. You know, that idea of a second self, a shadow self that's always there, the monster within.
And wow, do we see that split clearly here. On one side, you've got Dr. Jekyll, the perfect Victorian gentleman, right? He's all about control, respectability, his public face. But then, on the other side, you have Mr. Hyde, a totally twisted, violent creature who is basically the living, breathing embodiment of every single dark thought Jekyll ever tried to push down. And this is so important. This is the crucial point. Hyde isn't some demon that took over Jekyll's body. No way. Hyde is Jekyll. He was always there, you know, just lurking under the surface. So the monster, and the story makes this crystal clear, is internal. It's not some external force. But see, this internal rot, it doesn't just stay inside, it can't. It starts to spill out onto the streets. And this is where Stevenson is just brilliant. He turns the city of London itself into a perfect reflection of Jekyll's fractured mind. It becomes this labyrinth of secrets and shadows.
I mean, the London in this story, it's just a maze. Foggy streets, locked doors, a place where literally anything could happen in the shadows. It's a city built on secrets, where this thin layer of civilization is barely covering up all the darkness underneath. Which, you know, is a perfect mirror for Dr. Jekyll himself.
And this connection between the city and the self, it gets super explicit when you look at Jekyll's own house. He's got this respectable front door for the good doctor, right? But then there's this neglected, kind of sinister back door for Hyde. So the house, just like the man, is secretly divided.
So the big question is, how does Jekyll even unleash this monster in the first place? Well, it's not with some magic spell or ancient curse. It's with a chemical formula. And by doing that, Stevenson taps right into this very specific Victorian fear, the absolutely terrifying, unchecked power of science. This is actually a classic Gothic theme. It's called transgression, which is basically crossing a line that, humanity was never supposed to cross. You can think of it like a modern-day deal with the devil. But instead of signing in blood, Jekyll is mixing a potion. He's not summoning some demon from hell. He's literally brewing one in his lab. And this shift, it is so critical. Because by swapping magic for chemistry, Stevenson makes the horror feel disturbingly real to his audience. Suddenly, the devil isn't just a myth anymore. He's a potential scientific discovery, a new compound just waiting in a test tube. And that is a really frightening conclusion, isn't it? In this new world, the simple pursuit of knowledge, that can be the most dangerous thing of all. Science, the great engine of Victorian progress, becomes the very tool that can dismantle a man's soul and just obliterate all moral boundaries. So, you've got the divided self, the secret city, the dangerous science, all these threads, they're all weaving together and they lead us to one single terrifying conclusion. The true source of horror, it's not in a castle. It's not in a lab, it's right here, in the human heart. But see, giving in to Hyde, it's not some freeing release, it's a prison. And it all starts with guilt, which then leads to this terrifying loss of control as Hyde just gets stronger and stronger.
And from there, it just spirals into brutal violence, complete moral collapse, and in the end, the total self-destruction of the very man who started the whole experiment. Ultimately, this is why the novel has so much power, why it's lasted so long. The real horror isn't actually Mr. Hyde. It's that horrifying gap between the public face we show the world, our respectability, and the private moral corruption that, let's be honest, we all fight to keep hidden.
And that leaves us with one last pretty chilling question. See, Stevenson's story has survived because it's basically a mirror. It forces us to look at ourselves and ask, even now, a century and a half later, if Dr. Jekyll created Mr. Hyde from his own repressed desires, what are you repressing?